Good afternoon. Tim Bennett here from the Cortland Voice. I'm joined here today with two City of Cortland officials. We have Mayor Brian Tobin, and then we also have the chair or the department head of the wastewater department, Bruce Adams. Gentlemen, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Okay. Mayor Tobin, can you please provide us with the COVID-19 updates that we had discussed?
Absolutely. So the purpose of today, I want to give people an idea of what they should be doing over the next couple of weeks, and also to share some information that we've been tracking through the city and our wastewater treatment department. Our goal, we want to share this information because we fully believe that people, when they're informed, are going to make better decisions about what to do. And we're getting a lot of advice from the federal level, the state level, and some at county level, of course, as to what we should be doing. But we've got some additional recommendations that might make it a little safer for us come January. So a lot of what we've been looking at doing, we're understanding the challenges that we face, and we want to react appropriately. And I'm going to hand this off to Bruce Adams, who will talk about what we've been doing for wastewater testing and how that might indicate where we are. So Bruce?
Yeah, an interesting thing that we've been involved in since late May is testing samples of wastewater for presence of the COVID-19 virus. And this is, we're taking part in a program that was started as a collaboration between Syracuse U, ESF, and Upstate University. And so we take a sample of our influent wastewater, and we serve 2/3 to 3/4 of the county residents. They test it for the presence of the genetic signature of the SARS virus, along with the signature of a type of bacteriophage very common in people. And we use that data to generate a trend line that is predictive of what the infection rate will be in 7 to 10 days. So we've been doing this since, as I mentioned, late May. I have begun using this data to put together a press release at the direction of the mayor. And let me screen share to show what this looks like. So here, this graph has two trend lines. The blue is active cases in the county as reported by the county health department, and the orange is the data point for wastewater detection. And although we do get some variability in the wastewater results, it's a fairly new science, and wastewater itself is a rather fickle beast. You can see that there is close agreement between caseload and wastewater results. So we will be putting this this notice up weekly. Let me switch this over. So this is what the press release will look like. It'll have a short introduction as to what the testing is, an explanation of what that week's results are along with this graph, and then some notes on what that might mean for community response.
Very good. The reason why this is helpful is that we have found that over the last several weeks, when we've seen an uptick in cases in the community, the wastewater treatment plant has seen an uptick previously. So going forward, we're going to have this information on the city website, and people can look at it on their own and know that, hey, there's another measure that might help in terms of telling us where things are. From anecdotally speaking with some people in the community, understand that in terms of testing, there's occasionally delays and sometimes long lines in terms of being able to get through, depending on where you go. And with contact tracing, there's been times where people have been concerned because there might be delays. So we want to try to make sure that everybody has as much information as they can. So how does this play into the future and going forward? My hope and my thought is that we all need to make plans for these upcoming holidays. And I am less concerned about the religious holidays, be it Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever we celebrate. I'm a little less concerned about what might be smaller family gatherings as opposed to New Year's Eve and what people may be choosing to do. And we've all heard, I'm sure recently, the concern about living room spread. So what I am doing, what my family is doing, we've already made the decision about family members who we may ordinarily see that we are not going to gather with this year. For example, my father, my stepmother, my stepsister, and the other 4 members of her family, my brother and the other 4 members of his family, we're not going to get together this time of year. We'll see each other virtually, and we'll plan on gathering probably in a couple of months, maybe April or May, when we've got a better idea of where things are. But in terms of celebrating in person, we are making a conscious effort to keep our social circle small. So whomever we've been exposed to, our immediate family, we're trying to keep our social gatherings to that group. And I'm encouraging everybody to basically make the same decisions. That'll be true not just for, as I said, the religious holidays, but what are you planning for New Year's Eve? What are you going to do? And I get it. Some people may say, well, let's have a couple friends over. It'll be a small group. It's only 3 couples. It's just a handful of people. But it doesn't matter if you talk to people at the state or at the county level, it's these small gatherings that are one of the biggest transmissions currently. And when we look back, we've seen spikes after the 4th of July, after Halloween, after Labor Day, after Thanksgiving. Quite frankly, I think what we are currently going through in our county having the highest number of current cases, if you look at it, we're 2.5 weeks after Thanksgiving. That's been the trend. There's been the holiday, and then 2 to 3 weeks later, numbers have gone up. So let's be smart. We'll plan ahead. And if we are making smart choices for the holidays, we will hit January in a much better place to move forward. And this is critically important, not just for us as adults, but I'm also looking at school kids throughout our county. And when the schools begin just a couple days after New Year's, we want to make sure that there is little to no potential for those kids to be infected and potentially exposing classmates, teachers, administrators, other staff when they return. Because anybody who has kids, and when those kids are working remotely, understands the additional challenges that brings to the student, to the parents, to the employer of the parents, to other family members. So we want to make sure that we hit January smoothly, effectively, and a lot of that is us just making good decisions about how we are going to manage our cases. So that's pretty much what we have from the city of Cortland for today. Tim, you're on mute right now, but if there's anything else that you would like to ask or you would like for us to cover.
Bruce, let me ask you this. One of the questions I have for you is, being that we're in December, you might have some rain, but normally you have snow, that form of precipitation. Does that affect the numbers in any way, being the fact that, you know, the rain or the snow would come and that extra amount of water or snow, would that affect the results or any of those reports that you have?
As a matter of fact, we have been seeing our flows increase with fall precipitation. And, you know, we saw a small dip in the COVID numbers, the calculated COVID number last week. And I'm thinking that that may partially be due to increased groundwater intrusion into the sewer systems. Now, the crass phage is supposed to, you know, help avoid that problem, but as I mentioned to the mayor, I think there might not be, you know, perfect reciprocity with that. So As we see flows increase, that might, introduce some variability into those numbers.
Okay, my next question for you is, if there is, I'll just make this up. Let's say if there was an increase, or you see on your map or in your report, you see an area where there is a high density of, there's a chance that there may be people living there with COVID-19. What is your next move from there? Like, how are you contacting these residents, or what will happen?
We just do the one influence sample. So our sample is representative of the entire Seward area, which is the city of Cortland, the village of Homer, the village of McGraw, and as much of the town of Portlandville as is attached to the sewer system. It is undifferentiated beyond that. So for example, in Onondaga County, they have 5 or 6 wastewater plants, and they are able to, track it down at least to that degree. So for us, we're just doing a general community figure, and we share that information with the mayor, the council, and the county health department.
Okay. Well, those were the only questions I have. But would either of you like to end end this video with a closing thought or a closing word or anything else?
Yeah, the information that we're gathering from wastewater can be predictive to some extent. So we're interested in sharing that so that people can make their own decisions. But we all know that what every person does will impact our community health as a whole. And I cannot stress enough the importance, as we're heading towards the end of December, make appropriate plans for the holidays. Have a plan, stick to it, and make sure that your plan involves reducing the number of people who you are going to be in close proximity to. And it's tough decisions, because we're talking about potentially reducing contact with close family members. But if we do this now, we'll be in good shape potentially come January, and that'll be starting the year off right, and it'll make it easier getting from January to February. And as we continue to see improvements in terms of what we are doing collectively, we're going to be in a much better place than if we don't make these plans now.
Beautiful. Well, I thank you both for joining me today, and thank you for supporting the Cortland Voice. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you.